Okay, are you catching up, guys?
Yes.
Slowly but surely.
Good, good. Then there's gonna be some more time later on with more relax. I'm gonna tell you some nice stories about this. But now, take a look at how it looks, okay? And basically, to me, okay, this sofrito is like slowly but surely getting ready. Okay.
So you call it sofrito? What is sofrito?
Sofrito is the onions plus the olive oil and plus the garlic and plus whatever you want to add. That is called sofrito. Okay.
They need
Then,
to put
meanwhile, it's very important that on the other stove you put the broth, okay, and you keep it warm. The broth that you prepared must not be cold. You see this one that I'm showing you? This one must always be warm or hot. Don't have it cold because otherwise it will kill the rice. So in case it's cold, put some fire under it now. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
Yes? I have a question. Yes, Gabby?
Are we going to use the water from the mushrooms or not?
I didn't, you can use it, but I didn't put it because I don't like the sofrito to be too watery. I already put the water at the beginning with the onions, so for me is enough. Okay, I don't want it to become a soup.
Okay, and later you don't use it with the broth, no.
Now you can put it in the broth if you want, and so then you can recycle in later on. Yes, that you can do.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Claudio, the caldo should be warm or?
Warm, always warm.
Okay.
So if it's not, put some fire, Flora.
Okay.
Because I already go like explaining a little bit the next step. When this sofrito is ready, we're gonna put the rice. Then after that will be the time to slowly but surely pouring the broth into the rice. But you will come to that. But that is the general idea, okay?
Neely's asking if she need to put the heat now.
Low heat, depending. For example, I put it very low now because I'm waiting for everybody to be at this stage. And so if it's low, it takes longer. If you put it higher, when you're in a hurry, for example, you can put it very high if you want, but you must be very quick and very able to understand when is the time to stop. Otherwise, you burn everything, and you don't want to burn the onions, right?
Another question. Are we putting the rice in hot water now?
No, important. Rice, you don't have to wash rice for risotto. You don't have to boil rice. You don't have to do anything. You just get the rice out of the package and you don't touch it, okay?
I washed it.
No, wrong.
How much should we prepare? How much broth?
You prepare normally, imagine, you prepare like a liter of broth, more or less, or 2 liters of broth, because the proportion will be, you will discover now when I start putting the rice, for each person in Italy, we put a fist of rice, okay? Plus we say that we put an additional fist for the guest. Because you know, in Italy, we always have all of a sudden either a relative or a friend popping up, and so it's better to be ready. So we always pour one for each person plus 1. Then for each...
In our tradition, we don't put more.
You don't want guests. And the same goes with the broth. So with the broth, you normally put, guys, 1 of these, okay, for each feast of rice that you put at the beginning. Then you will have to put more. So in my opinion, with the broth, it's better to exceed than to fall short, because anyway, it's not very expensive and you can throw it away or recycle for other things, okay?
You can process.
Always have more broth rather than less. That is my piece of advice. Got it?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's the piece of advice?
The piece of advice with the broth, they were asking me how much broth, is always to have better to have a lot of broth rather than little. So better to exceed.
Okay.
Okay. So have it ready just in case, then you just recycle it or you throw it away. So please, Alicia, show people how it looks now, the sofrito. You see, the onions are caramelized. You see, the caramel color, they blend in together. They're beautiful. Right now, they're ready. Okay. So at this stage, what we have to do is a very important stage. I will explain first because then it will happen fast. We will put the rice, okay, into this with a high fire. I will put the fire up, the rice in, and then I will start mixing very fast so that the rice doesn't stick. Otherwise, you get burned, okay? Got it?
Can you say again?
So the next step is key, it's very important. I will get the rice, and I will put it inside, okay, into the pot, and I will start stirring very fast so that it doesn't stick to the pot, right?
Without oil.
Yes, she put oil before.
Ah, okay.
We put a lot of oil.
Okay, so I will put it there, but then we will leave it there just for maybe 30 seconds and stirring very fast. You will hear, and that is the second tip of La Mama, you will hear the rice complaining, start going like, shh. When that starts stopping after 20, 30 seconds of stirring, the noise will start going down. That will be the moment to have ready our wine and to pour the wine on it. And that is a beautiful experience. Have it ready because you will see how the rice will stop burning, will stop kind of, and the smell of wine will come up to your nose and make you extremely happy. So tell me when you have both the rice and the wine ready, because I will not proceed before that because that will happen kind of fast, okay?
Sorry, Claudio, I have a question.
Yes?
For the rice, you are going to put the rice right now and the wine. How much the rice and how much wine? It is one.
Yes. So the rice, Flora, I was explaining, is one fist for each person that is gonna eat.
Flora.
Una mano. Okay? Un puño. Then plus one. So if we are 4 people, for example, I will put 4 fist of rice plus a fifth one, or even a 6th one if you want to be abundant, okay? For the wine, of course, it depends on your taste, but it's not a lot of wine, let's say. It's enough to give it a nice color to the risotto because you will see it will become red, okay?
So how many cups of wine?
I will put normally a cup of wine. If you really love wine, Nitsa, put 2 cups. It's up to you.
Okay.
That in any case is not a big deal, a big problem how much you put more or less. So that's why I was saying it's not science, it's art, because the following step will be to start adding the broth, okay? So the wine is already liquid. If you put too much, it will start evaporating anyway, like for the broth. No big deal. Got it? So the first step now for you, the most important at the stage that we have reached, is not to have burned your onions, okay? I hope everybody has managed to reach that point. Are we all there?
We unmute everybody.
Are we all there?
Rita, bring him a glass of wine. He need to drink.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So guys, now I will put,
It's too hot there.
I was waiting for you. I'm putting the pot back onto the fire, okay? Here, so they will start sizzling again, you see? So now I'm ready to put the rice. Look at it. Look at the rice. So I put 1, we are 5 people. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? Got it? So I start moving. Look at this. Let's move it, because otherwise, you see, we are moving it. Can you hear the noise that it's making? I hope you can hear the noise that it's making. You see, we keep moving, otherwise it starts getting stuck. So now, when it starts calming down after some 15, 20 seconds, maybe 30, that it's got the flavor of the onions and the oil, I am ready with my wine. And look at the magic. This is the magic. This is the best moment of all. You see? Oh, that's smelling so good. Okay, and now things start calming down and we are less nervous to burn anything or to do anything wrong, because you see, I put already a lot, in my case, 2 cups of wine, and so the rice is fully covered with wine, okay? So there is no danger of burning at the moment. Now I turn the fire back to medium, low, to make it simmer at that kind of heat. Got it? Okay, so this is the situation right now. When I see,
Claudio, but you don't let the rice toast a bit before the wine.
Sorry.
can you hear?
No, see, you don't need to toast a bit the rice before pouring the wine, no? You just to mix with the bacon and the.
Has something happened with the video?
This is being absorbed by the wine, you see? It's getting nice. So now is the moment already to start pouring some broth into it, okay? So I start pouring, as I was saying, we are 5 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I put 6, okay? So look at, right now it looks kind of a soup if you look into the pot, okay? Because of course the rice and everything is fully covered with the water, okay? We put it at medium now, okay? And we let it go for a while. So this is a moment that is good for me to explain some of the history of this risotto. Are you interested?
Yes.
Yes, because
Yes.
now it's gonna go like this for some 15-20 minutes, just adding broth when you see that it starts drying up, okay? That's the whole idea. So, I was saying at the beginning that there are 3 kinds of rice in the world. As you know, probably, rice originated from China, from India, from East Asia, and then it moved to Europe, to Arabic countries, and Italy, in this case, from southern Italy, from Sicily, and then reached up north, where it is right now cultivated around the main river of Italy, which is called Po. Okay, so the 3 kinds of rice are the long grain, the medium grain, and the short grain. For risotto, it's very, very important that you use short grain. That is not random, that is important. You know why? Because short grain has a much higher concentration of starch, okay? Amido. So what happened with the starch? The starch, when it starts boiling, and that's why we don't have to wash the rice before or boil or anything, because now when it's in there, it will start releasing starch, and that's why the risotto will get sticky somehow and creamy. So it's very different, for example, from you might be aware and knowledgeable of pilaf, okay? That is done with long rice, because the long rice has the opposite characteristic. It normally stays puffy, it stays light, it doesn't stick together. Got it? So for example, when you do the pilaf, you have a completely different consistency and texture of the rice, because it's a different kind of rice, and of course, because it's prepared in a different way. This one, the short grain, it's also famous and used in Japan. You might be, of course, you ate all of you sushi. And so sushi, for example, is the rolls are made out of short grain for the same reason, because they stick together. They don't use long rice. Long rice, for example, to give you an example, is basmati. Basmati rice is long. This one is short, and typically the one that we use in Italy. No, sorry, I'm getting a question from Tanya. Did we cover the pot? look at the pot, is not covered. It's very important that we do not cover the pot because the water must evaporate.
Okay, thank you. Oh, thanks for that question.
It's very important because if it doesn't evaporate, then the rice doesn't get soaked into the broth, doesn't grow, and it stays like a soup. Okay, it's very important.
Thank you.
Got it? Yeah. So I was saying that in Italy, for example, we normally use for risotto this rice, short grain rice, which is called arborio. You can find it in the supermarkets easily, and that is also a brand, but originally, rather than a brand, is the name of a town in Italy. Okay, is a town near the River Po. Is a town in Piemonte. And as I was saying before, when the rice came from Asia through Middle East to Italy, came to Sicily, then went up to the north when he found the perfect condition around this river, because it's very humid place. And so a lot of rice is cultivated there, okay? And the most famous town there is called Arborio. And therefore the name of this rice is called Arborio. But here in Turkey, for example, another excellent short grain rice that you can use is baldo. For example, right now I'm using baldo rice here, which is absolutely fine. It's basically the same thing as arborio, okay? I love staying on top of this pot because I love the smell that comes up. You see? You can see now how it's boiling. We still do not see the rice underneath because it takes some time to start coming up like that, okay? So let me show something, a little secret. You know that I'm very lucky that Alicia is a chef and I eat very well at home, but I also have another precious treasure that I'm gonna show you, is this one. You see? This booklet is a booklet that is plenty of handwritten different recipe that I wrote and that I learned. Basically, my mother taught me how to prepare and how to cook, you see? And so this is very much treasure. These are my parents, young, right? In the 70s, you see the haircut and everything.
If you don't have the
Lovely.
Eh? So this is to say that cooking in Italy is very much a social thing, number one. Number two is a form of art because it's based on creation, based on innovation, and so we can consider it. One second, Alicia is asking something. Eh?
No, Nisha is saying that she doesn't believe it. So, because she doesn't cook rice. And if you cook, Tigreda is asking if you are cooking medium heat, and then Angel, water how much in proportion with the rice?
So,
and Anna said, and we all soon we will have the same haircut that your parents.
that is
Can
the
I
most
tell you a
important.
joke?
So the heat must be medium.
Claudio, Nitsa, yes?
I tell you a joke.
What, can you
I
repeat?
cook rice. I cook something else that looks like rice.
Still, I cannot. You see, in my case, still I cannot see the rice because look, right now
They're asking where you.
it is it's still covered. Okay.
Anyway, if you need, you add more.
Yes.
Broth, no?
Yes, of course. Right now I'm not adding, Angel, because you see that it's still covered. So the trick of the rice on top of the beginning in the sofrito, what I told you, the real trick will come in a while. It's exactly the same principle as for pasta. For a good rice, you need it to be al dente, but the additional difficulty of rice, risotto compared to pasta, is that at the same time, it must be creamy. So you have to hit that specific mix of al dente and creamy. And that I must say, it comes only with practice. I cannot tell you 21 minutes and 30 seconds and then turn it to medium, turn it high. It's trial and error. But there are some specific tips. One tip, for example, that I gave you is not to put it too high, okay? Sorry, Alicia?
Isra is asking are you putting when are you putting
Well,
the walnuts?
The walnuts, I could have put them at the beginning with the sofrito, or I can put them at the end so they don't get toasted and burned, depending how you like them. In my case, I like to add them at the end. So normally I add the fresh kind of ingredients at the end, but it's up to you. You can do both. Okay, so they're asking me if I keep stirring. Here, there are two completely different philosophies in Italy about stirring the risotto. The Taliban philosophy that says never touch the risotto while you pour the broth. You just do this. The other philosophy that I more believer is to move it, because by moving it, the starch that I was telling you before, the amido, comes out more from the rice, and it becomes more creamy, okay? It becomes more creamy, it becomes better. So remember that our final goal again for risotto is to have it al dente, which means that it's hard in your teeth, in your mouth, but not too hard, okay, but half hard. And the second characteristic is that it must be creamy, okay? These are the two main characteristics we're aiming for. And so what we're doing now with the broth is basically some sort of ritual, okay? Because we have to add it when we see that it starts drying up. So
Aisha is asking if she can ask, yeah.
Should I add broth? I can see the rice now. If you see the rice now, I start seeing the rice. We are still early on in the cooking, so I'm also adding a little bit so it doesn't get burned. Okay, calculate roughly that from the moment that you put the first broth, the big quantity of broth, it's gonna take 30-35 minutes, more or less. Got it? So that is more or less the amount of time that you will need. So each time you see that you start seeing the rice, okay, you add some broth. You only have to be careful when you reach more or less 20 minutes, 25 minutes, then to add just a little bit, because if you add too much, then you're gonna have a soup. You will not have a risotto anymore. So that is a very much of a trick. I will get there. When we reach, basically, I will try it in my mouth. And so I advise you to do so after 20 minutes or so to start feeling the consistency, the texture of the rice. And after that, you will decide, and that is the experience, the art part of it, okay, the magic. You will decide at that point when you stop. Okay, and this is very important. That is the other trick that my mother taught me. When it's almost ready, when you feel that the rice, you tried and the rice is half hard still, or very hard, okay, but you know that soon it's gonna be cooked. At that moment, you stop adding the broth, and there is when the milk comes into the picture. So the last bit, instead of adding water, the broth, you will add the milk, okay?
And the cheese.
That's important. Got it? So you have to make space for it. So don't exceed with the broth, but for the moment being, you can abound with the broth because we're still early on. And if you see the rice, you add broth because for example, I'm adding another one now, you see? Got it?
And then here we have cake. And then here we have another type of cake.
Admit.
So yeah. And then here we have cookies too.
Do we have a question, guys?
Does the milk need to be warm?
Also here, Angel, there are two schools of thought. I like it not warm. I like it normal temperature. Why? Because I know that you have more control on your rice. So as you know, when you start putting something cold in it or not hot, the cooking will stop, will start stopping. So normally that gives me a little bit more of control because I try the rice is basically almost there, almost ready. Then in that moment, instead of adding more broth, I will add the milk. And then I will let evaporate the milk. And when it's gonna be ready, then we're gonna be ready for the next and last step that I will explain. So since we are waiting, I already tell you the next step is very important. After we will add the milk at the end. When that evaporates, and then I will show you exactly when you see that the rice is ready, the right consistency, the right gluiness. At that point, the other trick will be, at that point you will turn off the fire, you will add the butter, you will add the Parmesan, you will stir it, and then you will cover it with the lid away from the fire and leave it there for 2 minutes. And then you're gonna eat it. Got it?
And Imsra is asking how much milk you need.
For example, you see this is way too much. Half of this.
This is 1 cup.
Can be half cup, depending to you. The more milk you add, the more gluey it will become. Same for the butter. The butter is called manteca or mantecare, which means it comes from the Spanish, which is called, butter is called manteca.
Sorry, Claudia. Nils and Chris are asking the kind of the same question because Neil forgot the milk because we didn't put in the list.
Okay.
Sorry. And Crystal is asking if we can let it out.
Okay, guys, you can leave the milk out, no problem. It's not compulsory. Milk and the butter, they help to give it the special touch of make it very creamy and beautiful. For example, cream is strictly forbidden in risotto. Okay? Never ever use cream. It's like people who use cream in pasta for carbonara. Bullshit.
Sorry, Claudio, you already put the butter?
No, the butter, Flora, will be at the very end. When this will be ready.
What did you put?
I put the broth. You can, Alicia, you can show it. You see?
Broth, what is broth in Spanish?
El caldo.
Flora.
Ah, okay.
How about the burrata cheese?
What about?
Do you think it will make sense to put burrata cheese?
I didn't get it.
Burrata cheese.
Ah, burrata.
Yes. Do you think it will?
You can use burrata.
Ah, okay.
Milky.
Yeah, you can use it. That will already be a mix of milk. Then use less. If you use burrata, you have it. You can put it. Then don't use maybe the butter, or use just a very little butter because already burrata contains that. Okay.
A lot.
Okay, guys. Now I'm curious. I don't know how long it has passed. Let's say 10-15 minutes. But since I like doing this, I will try some. You see, to understand where we are at the moment. Okay, it's very good. It's very good that I tried now because I didn't realize that the broth that was prepared before didn't have salt, and that is very bad for risotto not to have salt. So now I advise you, if you use natural broth and you didn't put the salt, to abound with salt right now, because normally when you use the Maggi broth, then you already have the salt in it. But in this case, basically I tasted it and it tasted of nothing. So we use the salt, and I also like to add pepper, because pepper gives it a special hint. Okay? Got it? Got it. So now is again getting dry. I tried it, it's still very hard, so I add another one of broth, you see? And I mix it a little bit so that in this case also the salt and the pepper, they start going around and mixing, okay?
Virginia from Dominican Republic saying that eso se ve rico.
Virginia, you have tried this so many times. And now that you learn it, next time I come, I want to try it, made by you. Okay, I tried it again. I will add some more salt. That of course is at your pleasure. If you like it with more salt, I will add some more.
We are cooking.
I thought that Alicia was nicely handing over some wine.
Yeah, but I'll give you one. Cheers.
Ah, cheers. Cheers, guys.
They are cooking.
Cheers.
Cheers, Angel. Cheers.
Salud.
Cheers.
So let
Yeah.
me see.
You forget to absorb the wine, huh?
Hey, bravo. Yeah, this is the vibe.
Okay. So nobody asked me the most important question: why it's called risotto al vino with the wine, and what kind of wine we need? We need a wine with body. So in my region, this is called vino alteroldego, which is a kind of wine. In Piemonte, it's called risotto al barolo, which is another kind of wine. Okay. You can use here also Shiraz, which has body as well, or Pinot Noir. Also. For you to know.
Crystal is saying that the little black book is a treasure, and cheers. My internet is slow.
Merlot. I made it with Merlot.
No, Neil.
Merlot
is okay, but Merlot is a kind of milder, let's say. It's okay, but it's not the best in this case. I would get something with more body.
But it's okay, Nisa.
Relatively, that I didn't cook it with rice, it's good.
What did you cook?
It's I don't know how to say it in. It looks like rice, but it's not rice. It's kind of pasta, couscous. I don't know.
The fun one.
I'll show you 1 minute.
Yeah, I think that I
Neil,
know.
you're asking whether I added the milk? No, not yet, because my rice is not ready yet. I've been trying it a couple of times.
I don't see it.
It's still hard, Neil. So I'm still waiting because the milk will be at the last.
This is like the couscous, the Turkish couscous. Pay attention because it's cooked really fast. Yeah, sorry. So Claudio, have some histories to share?
So the history I want to share is that, of course, now you all know Alicia, the great chef, but you didn't know that when we met the first time, it was
how did you meet?
In the Dominican Republic. She just came to my house and she rang the bell, and so I let her in, okay? And then the way I conquered her, because I was immediately mesmerized by her beauty, was actually by cooking risotto, okay? It was one of, amongst other things, but this was one of the first recipes that I prepared for her, okay?
Can I say the truth?
You can say the truth.
You didn't cook risotto the first time.
Not the first time, one of the first times.
But you cook already.
So guys, my risotto is getting ready. What about yours? Are you trying it?
It tastes so good.
It's
now getting.
It's still hard. The core is still hard.
Medium for me.
Medium. Okay. So
Mine is perfect.
now, okay. Then take a look at this now. It's very important. I will stop adding the broth. Look at my rice. You can start seeing it very well, right? Hope your rice is still not perfect, because if it's perfect, by the end of it will be overcooked. Must still be hardish, okay?
Juliana said that from here is medium.
I hope it's medium hard, and I hope it's drying up, most importantly, because when it's drying up now, you can put the fire stronger to dry it up faster, but then you have to move it a little bit more so that it doesn't stick, okay? In that case, so, well,
medium hard too.
Medium hard, perfect. Medium hard is ideal. Okay, because now
you need to put now the heat
a little bit higher if you want it to evaporate a bit more, because now you will see the right moment, the right consistency. Sure, for when I'm gonna put the milk. When you move it, must have some liquid going around, but you can already see that is kind of becoming drier. Okay? The mud kind of thing. You see it? Can you see it? It's a blobby thing. Okay? When it is a blobby thing like this, before it starts burning at the bottom, then I will get my milk, In this case, again, it's not hot because I want to stop the cooking of the rice, as I told you, okay? I want to stop the cooking of the rice, so I give it another go like this, and then I pour this one. Got it? Milk is coming in. Look at this, the color. It starts changing a little bit. Becomes, of course, a little bit lighter color.
Claudio, are we adding all milk that we have or just cream?
No, I added, for example, half cup in this case, because in my case, the rice was not very dry, was still very watery, and I didn't want to exceed with the milk. I just put a little bit. If I need to put more, I will put it in a second stage, in a few seconds, because I'm gonna turn the rice. You see, the important thing, you have to look at the texture now of the rice.
He put that like 100 milliliters.
Okay. Now, it tastes good. Okay. So, when I start moving it now, you see, I move it like this, and it's still watery, but the water is going away. The liquid is going away. Same is happening for you. It's getting more less of a soup, and the rice is nicely emerging and is becoming nice, starts to becoming creamy. Starts to becoming creamy in your case as well, guys.
Can you use leche deslactosada?
Yes, yes.
Soya milk, almond milk, or for the same creamy thing?
Totally yes. Okay, now is important. Look at the consistency right now of my rice, okay? It is still not super dry. You don't have to let it dry like when you do normal rice, because now, in a few seconds, I will add the butter, the Parmesan that will dry it up, and I will take it away from the fire and cover it. And by that, it will soak a little bit more. So don't make it dry, okay? This is the right consistency. Look at the consistency right now, in this moment. At least I get closer a little bit. And you see, this is the right consistency. So now is the moment for me to get this, the butter, put it in, okay? Start moving furiously, okay? The butter goes in, I start moving it around like this, okay? Got it? Until it starts dissolving. When it's almost disappeared, and I keep going like this, okay? It's disappearing now, okay? Now it's disappearing. I take it off the fire, or I turn it off and take it away from the fire, get my Parmesan. You see the Parmesan? Alicia, you see the Parmesan? And I put the Parmesan, a lot of nice, a couple of fists of Parmesan in it, and take a look how I'm turning it. Okay, I keep going, I keep going, I keep going. Okay, like this. You see, like this nicely. And in this moment, the way, and you cover it. And the game is done.
What about parsley?
What happened?
Parsley, now.
Wait, now that is for the presentation. And in my case, I will also add now, guys, can you see me? I will add now the nuts as well that I didn't add before. I can add them now, no problem. Look, can you see how I'm adding them?
I will do.
Okay, I'm adding the nuts here. I like them small, so I'm doing like this, okay? breaking them. Okay, then I give it another stirring like this, and I cover it again. Okay, we don't have to open it for a couple of minutes. Okay. Cut. So, where are you? Have you managed to reach this point, guys?
Claudio, I never heard nuts in risotto. Is it an Italian thing? Like, is it only in your family?
What happened? Can you repeat, Neil?
I mean, the nuts in the risotto. I never heard that before. Is it?
This is a kind of is a type of risotto. What I was saying at the beginning, I think it is the most important. Now you have learned the basics of the risotto, the different steps and the tricks. What you put in the risotto is up to you. For example, this one with the wine, mushroom, and nut in walnuts is quite a typical one. The most famous one, probably that you must know, is called risotto alla milanese, which is with the saffron, is yellow.
Yes.
And right, and also is the only risotto that in Italy we don't eat necessarily as first dish, because for us risotto is the first dish. After that we eat meat or we eat fish, and then we eat salads, and then with the dessert, the coffee, whatever. But in Milan, which is probably the most famous place for risotto, the risotto alla milanese with saffron, but then is also with ossobuco together. They put it inside. Ossobuco is the bone marrow, the bone marrow, okay? They put it inside with sausages as well, and that is a very typical dish that is just a main dish. You just eat that, okay? But otherwise, the way we eat it in Italy, risotto is like pasta, it's the first dish, and then you will have a second, a third, whatever you want. So again, risotto, I like it a lot because it gives you a lot of space for creativity, for variation on the theme. You have the basics, and then you add different things. Another famous one, for example, is with the white wine and with the crustaceans, okay? You can put, for example, how they call squids mussels in it. You can put mussels in it, and it's a completely different thing and different flavor. You can have it with, again, with bacon. I love it, of course. You can have it with sausages. You can have it according to what is your taste. Again, the variables I was telling you about are the onions, whether you like.
Sorry, Tanya, no, the
yes,
pot
I covered the pot, Tanya.
but it's not in the heat.
No, away from the heat for 2-3 minutes, away from the heat. And
sorry, Claudio, we have a question. We need to cover the pot or not?
Yes, covered, Flora, and away from the heat. It's not burning anymore. It's here, covered for 2-3 minutes, okay?
Ah, okay. And we can use the nuts, almendras, or just?
You can put almendras, you can put whatever you want, yes.
Okay.
So,
yeah, you can put according to what you taste, what you like the most. And that you will discover, Flora, only by trying many times, different variation of this, you will discover what you like. For example, I like this one with red wine, but some people like it a lot more with white wine, okay? But it's the same principle. With white wine, you normally can associate more fish or kind of seafood, fine. With red wine, normally you would associate more meat, fine. Or even straight. For example, I like it many times to do it just with wine. No mushrooms, no zucchini, no bacon, nothing. Just with the red wine. And it's absolutely fine and delicious. Okay? So it's really up to you.
Now it's
okay.
Let me drink some wine because now we will start with the presentation and everybody will be able to taste it. So, you know that in the world, the biggest producers of rice are in Asia, in East Asia particularly. China, India, Bangladesh, Thailand, Vietnam, etc., Pakistan. But also in Italy, I was saying, we produce this rice, which is a specific kind of rice in the north because of the climatic conditions. So it's not a tropical rice, it's not a long rice, it's a short rice. and is perfect for risotto. But for example, is not good if we wanted to do pilaf or detached and fluffy kind of rice. So the question here, can the kids eat the risotto we did today since we put some wine? They must. Yeah, they love it. They love it. Yeah, yeah, of course, of course.
No, and one thing, Tanya, when you cook the alcohol evaporated, so
Yes,
you will have the flavor, but not the alcohol.
So.
I thought so, but they asked me to check. Here.
So, yeah, question, please.
Now the consistency of the rice now must still be a bit hard, still al dente, no?
Yes,
because
now it's ready. Yes.
But it will doesn't need to be too soft because it will.
No. Must be the risotto must be al dente inside and must be soft, not soft, must be gluey and creamy outside. Now Alicia will show you. I will open the pot so you will see the exact consistency and texture. Here the vapore, you see here? Evaporation, and here the steam, and here you see the right, you see when I start moving it, you see how it moves?
It's because also if you now let it too much, maybe it becomes softer, no? So
too much, yeah. If before was too hard, you leave it a little bit more with the cover on. If it was already ready, you just leave it 30 seconds, 1 minute.
You can uncover.
So yeah, exactly.
If it's ready al dente, you can uncover them.
You can uncover, exactly, and then you serve it. Now, for example, we're gonna serve it.
Imre said, and it's considered like a main meal.
And you need to eat immediately.
And then you need to eat immediately. It's like pasta. It's very important.
That's a problem.
Yeah. It is very extremely wrong to think that you can cook risotto and keep it there. Once the risotto is cooked, like in this case, and is ready, so now I will call my kids as well.
So now I have a problem because I have a lot of risotto and I'm alone.
Now you can also repeat. So in this case, the presentation that we offer today, guys, is this risotto here. Okay, let me cover the other one here. And we're gonna put some twill of Parmesan. You see, I'm gonna break it now in half. You know what twill of Parmesan is?
No.
It's Parmesan, it's very easy. You put it, you grate it on a frying pan without olive oil and nothing. You just leave it there for 4 or 5 minutes and it starts coming together. When it starts getting this color with a spatula, you get it out, you turn it, and then you have this, which is made exclusively 100% of Parmesan, nothing else. And then what we like to do in this case is to put it here.
Wow.
Because it looks nice. And then we're gonna get some parsley. We're gonna put it around for the presentation. And if you like the taste of it, we can even put some on it. And so now you have the perfect risotto Trentino. I forgot to tell you the name of my region. It's called Trentino because this wine, Teroldego, is only cultivated in Trentino. So we call it risotto al Teroldego. And so,
wow, qué rico, Claudio. Salud.
Salud.
Don't go.
I want to see yours risotto.
Please show us your risotto.
I want to see your face with the risotto, Claudio.
Your face with the
My
risotto.
face with the risotto. How do you want it, down or like this?
Come on, it's for the magazine.
Like this.
Pizza and risotto.
Wonderful. Now see mine.
Yeah, Alicia can take the picture as well now.
Thank you so much. It tastes delicious.
Yeah.
Did you try it? Is it good?
It's perfect. It's my first time cooking risotto and it's perfect.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that.
Also my first time.
I'm going to tell everybody that this is a risotto.
Show us pizza.
Okay, mine is coming.
Wait,
This is mine.
This is mine.
Everybody show their risottos.
Oh, good.
Well, still didn't serve it.
Voila. Are you sure yours?
Wow. Voila.
Wait, we have a technical problem.
Ali, I will send a picture with mine. It's delicious.
You didn't finish already?
Yeah, I already finished. Yeah, I already finished. Yeah, everything is okay.
Everything is okay?
Yeah, I will show you.
Phyllis, did you cook the risotto? I seen you.
No, I just watched. But it was a great program. Thank you.
It was a great program.
Yeah.
You're gonna try it.
Claudio, you're a great teacher.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I agree.
great teacher.
But you have to try it first to really appreciate.
It's
And then you
really
tell me
good,
what
the
is good.
risotto. It's fantastic.
I
haven't tried.
No?
Wait, let me get
Elisha
a
is fantastic. Elisha,
Ali,
are you going to record it?
Please, guys.
Yeah, I forgot to put it at the beginning, but I think like in the minute 10 we started to record it.
So, very important, do not use a spoon for the risotto. Use fork. Fork. The spoon is...
I'm ready to use glass. Claudio, I'm ready for a glass, not for a spoon or fork.
Eh?
I'm ready for a glass.
Mira, mira, mira.
Wait, we have a small technical problem.
Thank you very much.
Say hi.
This is Maya.
Thank you.
My weekend. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
By the way, Claudia, Alicia,
Yes.
I recommend burrata cheese.
bye.
Burrata cheese is good.
you
so
very
I'm gonna
Burrata is so
try.
good.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
See you soon.
Bye.
Enjoy.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Bye. 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 Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Paula, ¿dónde está?
Miss you. Bye.
Bye.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.